I refused to let my ex's stepson in my house, and now I'm the awful one.
Oh, here we go. I'm the awful one.
Our custody arrangement is for each of us to pick the kids up on our day during our 2-hour pickup window. He arrived at the house, and I already had the boys ready. I saw his car pull into the driveway on my camera, so the boys were already halfway to the door when my ex knocked. I opened the door, and he was holding the hand of a 4-year-old. He asked to come in and said his fiance's son needed to use the bathroom. By the way, this comes from user BonusWest5031, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, I told him I didn't want him to come inside because I don't feel comfortable with him in my house. Bruh, it's a 4-year-old who needs to use the toilet. This child has a history of snooping through my things. He asked me to take his future stepson to the bathroom, and I said I was uncomfortable with the situation. He said his stepson needed to pee. I suggested the McDonald's up the road. He said my bathroom would be way cleaner than McDonald's. Facts, though, he can take his own stepson to the bathroom.
Yeah.
At this point, my 11-year-old started pestering his dad to stop so they could leave. My ex said, your brother needs to use the bathroom. My son said, I'll take him. My ex said, no, your mother would rather he pee in his pants. We'll go, and hopefully we'll get to the McDonald's in time. My ex and the boys left. He messaged me afterwards saying I was cruel to a child to punish him and that it wasn't okay. He said I made us both look bad in front of our kids and should be embarrassed by my actions. I've been fighting with him for so long that my perspective is screwed up. Was I in the wrong? And there are some comments. I would say, like, maybe, but where was there should have just been the insistence of, like, yeah, you take him to the bathroom. I'm not going to take him to the bathroom. You take him to the bathroom. And I'll observe. I will make sure you stay where you are designated to be.
Yeah.
Which is just the bathroom.
Yeah.
Comments number 1. Not the a-hole. He wanted to snoop. This was obvious after he rejected your son's offer to take the kid to the bathroom. Sneaky, isn't he? OP says always has been. He's an intelligent man. Was that sarcasm? Because this guy sounds not that smart. He got put in a corner by an 11-year-old. If the kid needed to pee, the ex could have stopped prior to arriving at his ex's. He knows the relationship is strained. Good Lord! He has a 2-hour window. My ex and I, 6 p.m., the end. Comment number 2 says, okay. So I like to ask my husband these scenarios and get his 2 cents. He seems to think because you have stated you've had multiple problems with the ex that this was more about control. He wanted you to do what he said. Was the boy hurting and crying because he had to go? If not, my spouse thinks it was a power play by your ex. If it were me, I would have asked my son to take him and told the ex to go wait in his car. But if this hydroponic system just likes to boss you around, then not the a-hole. OP says he was holding my ex's hand and kind of looking around. He didn't say anything. And there's an update.
I bet he didn't even need to go to the bathroom.
I bet he'd already peed in his pants.
I did talk to my lawyer about what happened. He said we can address it at the hearing we already have scheduled about the movie situation. I thought that was that, but of course, it was my turn to pick up the kids today. When I arrived at my ex's place, he opened the door very wide and invited me in. I was suspicious and said no, thank you. He kept insisting I come in so we could show the kids we were civil, but I had a bad feeling. I said I would just wait in the car for the boys to come out. I got in my car, texted my older son that I was there, and a short while later, he texted me back saying his dad said they couldn't leave unless I got them. I went back to the door and knocked again. Again, my ex invited me inside. I said I didn't want to come in, and that was when my boys showed up. My ex's fiance was right behind them, telling them to come back upstairs. They ran to me, and we left. I don't know what his game is, but I'm not falling for it, whatever it is. And there's a second update. What a couple of freaking weirdos.
Weirdo alert, weirdo alert.
Yeah, guarantee the kids don't like your fiance now, dumb ex-husband. We just concluded our hearing, and it went okay, all things considered. The judge said that neither of us needs the other's permission to take the children to age-appropriate experiences like movies. He told my ex not to tell me I can't take the kids to do certain things just because he wants to do them. But if he wants to do them, he can. But so can I. That was a win. The judge was annoyed that there was another drop-off issue. He was especially annoyed because the reason he gave my ex a 2-hour window for drop-offs was that my ex said he needed flexibility since he's a caretaker for his fiance's children. If he's taking them with him to drop-offs, why does he need 2 hours? The judge told him not to take his fiance's children to my house and not to ask to come inside my house. He told me not to ask to go inside his house either. He also told me not to rush my ex and to be patient and allow the children time to come to the door. I wasn't rushing him, but I didn't say that to the judge. I just agreed. My ex also dropped the bombshell that the week of the wedding, he needs me to pick the kids up from the resort where the wedding is instead of his house because they're going on their honeymoon straight from the resort and not returning home.
He wants her to go see them right after they got married and rub it in her face that he's getting remarried.
I'm very uncomfortable with this, and my lawyer said that's too much of a burden to put on me.
Boom.
Bang. The judge disagreed with my lawyer and said we all have to be flexible sometimes. I'm stuck doing that. I feel like he intentionally started fights about the previous 2 issues he knew he would lose on, so the judge would side with him on the final issue to make things fair. Maybe I'm just paranoid. So 2 wins and 1 loss. Hopefully they'll be too happy about being married to pull any more stunts. And there's a 3rd update, probably about the stunts that were pulled.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Update number 3. Well, I thought I would update everyone on what happened when I picked my kids up from my ex-husband's wedding. First of all, I got there at 8:20. As soon as I arrived, I texted my ex and my older son that I was there. Then I walked into the lobby. I checked my phone and had no response from either. I waited until 8:40 and then I walked to the front desk. I said I was there to pick up my children and asked if maybe my ex had left a message at the desk for me. They knew nothing. I called my older son and he didn't answer. I called my ex and he didn't answer. At this point, my anxiety was bad and I felt sick. At 9, I called my lawyer and his receptionist said he would call me back. I kept calling my older son and he didn't answer. This was unusual for him. I was scared something had happened. I asked the front desk which room they were in and they couldn't tell me, which I understood. At 9:20, I called the police. It took them a while to get there. When they arrived, it was past 10, the pickup window. I was panicking. All I could think was that my ex was going to tell the judge I was late. When the police arrived, they asked the front desk for my ex's room number. They told the police he had checked out. I didn't know what to think. They asked the front desk if they had kids with them when they left, and they said no. They said my kids were actually booked in a suite with her kids and his parents, and they had paid for late checkout. The officers told me to wait downstairs and went to the room. They came back with my kids and their stuff, and we left. My oldest said his grandfather took his phone away, and they stayed up late and had no alarm set. Both boys said their grandparents were furious when the cops showed up. My lawyer eventually called me back, and we scheduled another custody hearing for after the honeymoon.
Oh my gosh.
Well, hopefully the judge will see that this is bonkers and that there's some sort of, insane, not even just miscommunication. It's like intentional miscommunication.
Yeah, it's like you're just why?
Yeah.
You're turning your children into a vehicle to give your ex anxiety.
Right.
But you know what would affect me is if you didn't listen to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime, and you will make me a very happy boy.
Happy boy. Right now he's very sad boy.
I'm very sad because you have not listened.
So please make him happy boy. Please.
And we have a little bit more story left. Yeah, honestly, I think you're just, it's the lawyers. The lawyers and the judges, and that's all you can really do and document and be like, hey.
Yeah, I'm
this isn't working.
I'm really excited to see what happens at this next hearing.
So, at the hearing, my ex tried to put everything on me. He said he told me the kids would be with his parents. He didn't. And that I staged the whole thing to make him look bad. He also said me calling the police traumatized the kids. I showed the judge all of our communication. The judge even interviewed my kids, who said even they didn't know they would be with their grandparents until the prior evening, by which point my oldest's phone had already been confiscated.
The one that she was trying to communicate with.
Exactly.
Hmm.
The judge gave me primary custody with visitation and said all
Whoa!
pickups and drop-offs will now be at neutral locations with a 30-minute window. He was
Woo!
done. He was pissed.
Woohoo!
Yes, go
Let's
judge. Go judge, go
Go
judge,
judge,
go.
go
Go
judge.
judge, go judge, go.
Woohoo!
My ex has filed to have our case transferred to another judge because this one is clearly biased against him. In the meantime, though, the boys and I are happy and doing well. They're both getting great grades so far this year, and that is the end of that story.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
Beautiful
Well,
ending.
we got a great, satisfying ending. Justice
Yeah.
was served.
Justice dispensed!
My boyfriend wanted his female friend to stay at our place while I was away.
No, not allowed. Not allowed.
I, 27 female, live with my boyfriend, 25 male. We've been together for almost 2 years and started living together recently after being long distance for a while. This summer, I'll be abroad for a few weeks visiting my family. Recently, an issue came up, and I'd really appreciate outside perspectives. By the way, this comes from Onishinika Amidamon. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, here's the sitch. My boyfriend has a female friend, 26 female, who is visiting our country to see another friend. Knowing she'd be around, he sent her a message about an event happening near our place. Something like, you might be interested in this. She replied asking if she could stay at our place for a week and then go to the event. I don't know if she's aware that I won't be home during this time. What I do know is that my boyfriend is totally fine with the idea and just answered that he'll let her know. I honestly trust him. I don't think anything would happen, but I still find it uncomfortable that he's okay with having another woman stay over while I'm gone. And not just stay, but stay to go to an event together, just the two of them. That personally feels intimate, even if it's not something romantic. He, on the other hand, sees zero problem with it. He said he would be 100% fine if I did this with a male friend. And even though we cannot say that would be the case until it happens, I feel like it could be true. Thing is, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that myself, not even if he said it was okay. To me, it feels like a gray area. Like it doesn't violate trust, but it tests emotional boundaries. My boyfriend is very close to his two sisters, and I wonder if that has shaped his comfort level being around women platonically. I think that's a good thing. I don't personally see any problem with that. I think you just have to trust your partner. Now,
Totally.
obviously, they wouldn't be sleeping in the same bed.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He sees it as a friend is just a friend. I agree.
Exactly.
But to me, sharing a home in your partner's absence adds a level of emotional intimacy that I wouldn't personally feel okay creating with someone of the opposite gender. We've talked about it, and he's willing to respect my wishes, but we're still not quite seeing eye to eye. And I'm trying to understand myself better. Why does this bother me so much when I trust him? For this reason, I'm asking you guys for an opinion. Thanks for reading. And Edit wanted to add that they've been friends for 3 years, and I've met her a few times. She's nice, but I don't really know her much. I wouldn't say we are friends, more acquaintances. Also, she has a boyfriend if this info can be any help for the context. Lastly, my boyfriend lied to my face about minor things a few times in the past. So even if I trust that he wouldn't cheat, I don't believe him when he says that he never had thoughts or feelings towards her. Okay, well that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. Now it seems like you don't trust your partner,
Right.
which is a different issue. Edit 2. I didn't expect for this post to get this much attention. My boyfriend and I are reading the comments together and talking about what we think. I'll try to come back with an update. It's been very interesting to read everyone's thoughts on this topic.
Oh my
And
gosh.
there are some comments. Comment 1, guy here, if my girlfriend is not comfortable with it, I would be totally understanding. Say to the other girl, sorry, my girlfriend won't be here, so I cannot let you stay. End of discussion. Hoping if it happens the other way around, my girlfriend would do the same. It works both ways. Reply, this is interesting. Your boyfriend should have no problem handling this, and how he chooses to will say a lot about his character, but This is such a non-problem for me. I wouldn't put it on you because the friend may take it personally and think you do not like her or that you have an issue with her. I would never choose words or actions that could tarnish your image or character. If we have something to discuss, we have that discussion in private, and we always present ourselves as a unified front. My wife is my ride or pass away partner. I, without question, will stand by her and support her.
Oh my
If she said it
gosh.
makes her feel uncomfortable, then I would just tell my friend that they can't stay over. But also, I mean, yes, I think that's good. But also, we need to have a discussion about why you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's the underlying issue here. Like,
Right.
why are we not okay with him having, close friendships with this woman? If they asked why, I would own it and say that my girlfriend will be away and I have a heavy workload and I'm not in a position to have a house guest at that time. If he handles it in any other manner, then the two of you have bigger things to discuss than a house guest. Or another reply says, much healthier approach. I personally always find this an interesting part of straight relationships. I'm coming from a queer lens. I'm very curious about Opie's thoughts about being uncomfortable in having friends outside of their gender. I wonder if they think you shouldn't or can't have platonic relationships with anyone of the gender that you are romantically attracted to. I also wonder if they believe queer people cannot be in monogamous relationships. That's the thing. I think this is like something that OP needs to dip in deeper with.
Yeah.
I think this is not just something you can kind of gloss over and be like, oh, we're not going to have her over and that's it. Both myself and my partner are bi, so it's always interesting when straight people have a no alone time with a different
Dude.
gender rule.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's freaking weird, dude.
Because if queer people followed this, I wouldn't be able to have any friends. Exactly.
Yeah.
As there isn't a gender I'm not attracted to. Comment 2 says, I am married to my husband for 13 years. One of my best friends of 25 years is a man. My friend recently mentioned getting away from the families for a weekend. It was not suggested in that way. It's platonic. I go away a couple times a year with girlfriends. Same thing, right? Well, no. Even knowing our friendship is and has always been platonic, it didn't feel right. I didn't even mention it to my husband. I think men and women can be friends. However, even then, I think there are lines not to cross out of respect for your partner. If you feel uncomfortable, be honest. I don't know many women that would be okay with leaving their SO alone with a friend of the opposite gender for an entire week. I, again, still disagree with that. Just adding that my husband knows my friends well. We hang out as couples. Doesn't change the above. And there is an update, folks. I mostly agree with that comment, I think, but I've like 99% agree with that comment. It's just the last part of like, usually when people visit, they're visiting for a week.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know.
it's just silly, guys. Let's
Yeah.
just like stop being silly and just like
Just
freaking
respect your partner. And
put
if there's
it.
another issue where you just don't trust that your partner's not going to do something with this person,
Yeah.
then that's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boyfriend and I read the many comments together and were surprised by the fact that the opinions are clearly divided. You were surprised by Reddit being divided on opinions? Some emphasize trust and suggest I might be overthinking things, while others agree that my feelings and boundaries are valid. This discussion helped me realize I've always been open about my own friendships, how long I've known someone, and what our bond is like. But we have never really talked in depth about his friendships, especially with women. It was very nice to talk it out, and I now have a clearer understanding of his social life. Personally, I've gained more clarity on why the situation doesn't sit right with me. 2 of my boundaries are being crossed. First, my home is my sanctuary. Having someone I don't know very well stay for an extended period isn't okay with me.
Okay, well then that's not about relationships. That's just about your own freaky self.
Yeah. Especially since my boyfriend has to work, meaning the guest would often be home alone, so you just don't want guests in your house. To be clear, this boundary applies regardless of the guest's gender. OP just hates hosting.
Yeah.
Second, a full week in that kind of intimate setting feels more like a relationship level arrangement than a casual friendship. I disagree. That level of exclusivity is something I expect in a romantic partnership. In this case, the gender is relevant because it creates ambiguity. Okay. That said, I don't consider visits like this completely off the table forever, but it's important for me to know the other person more and for the visits to be shorter. We don't always see things the same way, especially because we come from different countries and cultures, but he's committed to respecting my boundaries. He wants us to act as a united front. Well, at least you got that, I guess. So we agreed that before saying yes or no to any guest, we will talk it through and respond together. We also live in a continent where visiting friends across borders is easy and common. There will be plenty of occasions for him or us to meet this friend of his. I'm not taking away a unique opportunity. Finally, some suggested installing cameras. Who are you people?
What is happening here?
But we already have cameras at the entrance. At that point, y'all you don't trust your partners. We also share locations with each other, so I don't think he'd ever consider lying to me about this. Thanks for reading. Comment 1. So, is she gonna stay at your place or not? OP says, in the main post I had written that my boyfriend is willing to respect my wishes, meaning that she won't come. Comment 2 says, relationships have boundaries, and it's good sign that he's willing to compromise and be level-headed and about the discussion. But as a man myself, I would never even think to bring up something like that to my lady. I don't care. Okay, you don't have friendships with women. Cool.
Yeah.
Anyone with a single brain cell left would know immediately how uncomfortable that would make a person, man or woman. It has nothing to do with insecurity and everything to do with common sense, respect, and boundaries.
Oh, shut up. I'm gonna punch you in your face. How about that? How about that?
I'll punch you face.
I'll punch you in the face.
But kudos to you both for how it was handled from both parties. I disagree with all those comments. Oh, fine. You guys are happy in a relationship and you have your boundaries. Good for you. I disagree.
Is it over?
It's over. That's it. That's
Dang.
freaking it.
Well, you
How
know
to
what
piss
they
Sophia
say.
off.
The gender binary pisses me off.
The gender,
Yeah.
the gender binary glass ceiling pisses me off as well.
Ceiling? Just throw words in there.
Am I only allowed to live with was I only allowed to live with Riley for a week and then I had to move out? That
You
wouldn't make
wait.
any sense.
Hang on,
That
hang on,
didn't
hang on.
work
You
out,
guys
yeah.
lived together for more than a week?
What?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hold
Whoa,
on
whoa,
a
whoa.
minute.
I can't. We got it. Hang on. Can we turn the cameras off? Hang on.
Turn them off. Turn them off.
Turn them off. I found out my boyfriend betrayed me, so I made his mistresses expose each other.
Teamwork.
I, 28, have been in what I thought was a serious relationship for a year now with this man, 25. There has been loads of drama, disagreements, and he would leave his 4-year-old son with me on multiple occasions.
Oh!
I am childless,
Oh,
and I
man.
don't plan to have children, so I thought it would be ideal to be with a man who already has kids, so he will not want any with me. This comes from United States of Labia. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Angie,
I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments down below. So OP says, his child and I don't speak the same language, and I'm essentially a stranger to this child, so it was quite frustrating babysitting him. Then, additionally, his child would wet the bed, refuse to eat, and generally misbehave when he leaves me with the child.
That is classic child behavior.
I couldn't discipline the child properly due to a language barrier. This man, Paolo, would berate me for not immediately bonding with his child, everything I did wrong regarding his child, and etc. Paolo has not been a physical present father in his child's life from ages 0 to 4. So I told him, you're just projecting your self-doubt and frustrations onto me. Because if anyone should be bonding with this child and parenting him properly, it's you first, and then I follow your lead. He had the gall to tell me, you are not fit to be with a mother. And like that was supposed to hurt my feelings. I was thinking, duh, that's why I don't want to have kids. Then he asked me, where is your motherly instinct? In the moment, I couldn't manage to ask him, where is yours?
Where's yours?
Where is yours?
Because that comment alone threw me for a loop. Me. What motherly instincts? From where? I don't have kids. I don't want to birth kids.
Well, what about the motherly instincts from your mother? Can't
What
do
the
Spanish.
F, Paolo? You know I did not even grow up with my mother, so instincts from where? He did come back to me and apologize for having unreasonable expectations.
So sorry.
Then he confessed that he wanted me to be the child's mother, which is literally impossible. That boy already has a mother, and I also asked him, what is a mother to you exactly? A child has 2 parents, and you can't expect one parent to do all the child rearing. Little boys need their dads. After this specific argument, I noticed his behavior changed, or he has always been a peepee head. He would be really cold and mean to me. he would withhold spicy sleep and intimacy, ignore my calls and text messages, start unnecessary fake fights, say effed up crap about, like, I forgot spicy sleep with you is always amazing, and I forgot I actually missed you. What the frick? I asked him directly, what's wrong? Do you want to be with someone else? What is your problem? He would ignore or dismiss my concerns and give very empty reassurances. That's when I knew some effing crap was happening. I told myself to be patient, and eventually he'll get overconfident and slip up. I needed evidence, so there would be no way for him to manipulate me into thinking otherwise, like he has been doing. And so it happened. His phone broke, and for work, he always needs to be reachable. So he started using my old iPhone without asking me permission. When I tried to just ask him about the iPhone, he immediately got angry and said, "There you go again about your phone, blah, blah." My iPhone is registered to my iCloud, so I could see his whole call log. There were some very suspicious phone calls to the same woman every day. I thought that's not enough. Then I found a prescription for STD medication in his coat when I was doing laundry, and one of the call girls' name was on the prescription. I thought again, that's not enough.
You thought again, that's not enough?
That's crazy.
Girl.
That's crazy.
Girl, we got full on proof in the pudding.
Yeah. So obviously it's my iPhone with my biometrics password. Therefore, post some very dissatisfying, some of his worst work, coitus. I knew he would pass out, so I began my scheme.
Girl, why are we scheming? Just say bye.
Just like,
We're not married.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get out of there.
I waited for him to start snoring because that is when I knew he was in a deep sleep. Reached over for my old phone. I started going through text messages and social media. Some messages were deleted, of course, but I got the gist. It was all there. He was cheating on me with multiple women.
We're all shocked.
He and the STD call girl both got treated, so when was he going to tell me to get treated? What an a-hole.
Did you get treated after you found the STD medication?
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know. I was furious, and then I thought up a plan. According to their conversation, STD girl seems to be irate and jealous because she had an inkling that he is a witch. Then there was a new girl, and it seemed they were saying "I love you" to each other, but they haven't had spicy sleep yet. Maybe she lives far away, maybe she doesn't give it up easy, who knows. So I thought I'll get a spoof text number. I texted the STD girl with all the contact details of the new girl, and the text went something like this. "Hi, STD girl. You've been trying to reach Paolo, right? Text this new girl. Her number is XXXX. He's been with her this whole time while ignoring you." The next morning, Paolo's day was absolute chaos. He couldn't figure out who this spoof number was. STD girl called new girl, and now they were both giving him heck. He was anxious the spam number would text me next, since they are revealing all the witchcraft he has been up to. I pretended like I didn't know a thing. I also texted myself with the spoof number saying, "Hey, are you OP? Ask your man who STD girl is."
Oh, she's covering all of her bases.
Wow.
I don't know why, though. Why?
Yeah.
This isn't Ocean's 11.
Right.
We can just go.
You just leave. Just leave. Just get out of there. He suspected I was behind it, but I was a coy. And then I confronted him with tears, yelling, and the works. I told him after that the anonymous text message and the STD medication prescription, obviously he is cheating. He thinks that the STD girl did it. Last we spoke, he was furious with her for blowing up his schemes.
His schemes.
Just because she was bitter that she was a side chick, according to him. Meanwhile, I'm just chuckling at him spiraling. Yeah, I'm heartbroken. Obviously, this is the end of that fake butt relationship. But I'm not the one crying. We're all going to be heartbroken. Womp womp, sucks to suck. P.S. No, they're not call girls as in spicy sleep workers. I'm just making a pun. And we do have an update for the additional tea. And I want to tell everyone we are like exactly halfway through this story.
Oh,
What?
dang.
Yeah, we are
That
like...
infuriates me, actually.
Spill that tea.
Woo! Woohoo! If thoughts before we spill the tea, anyone want to make a speech before we dump the tea into the river?
Yes. I'm frustrated at OP. You're telling me that we got a whole other half of this story when she could just leave Paolo?
Yeah. So, there is more. The more is just more context on the plan and how it played out. Okay, so maybe it's not further relationship going on after this whole scheme. It's just more detail about this scheme.
Oh, boy.
Let's do it. For my plan to work, I had a friend of mine that Paolo has never heard of help me. She asked me, okay, you'll spoof text STD girl, but how will he know that she called the new girl? I confidently told my friend, STD girl seems like a crash out and like she has feelings for this man. I also had a feeling she knew he was in a public relationship with me. So she will be the perfect person to set up. My friend had her doubts, but I told her, don't worry, have patience with me. The spoof text was sent to STD girl at night, so now we wait. And he did not come over to my place that night. In the morning, he came over, acting like a guilty kid that was caught doing something bad. He asked me, hey, did you receive any upsetting text messages last night? Me, no, upsetting how?
You tell me?
Huh? How would I know if you're asking me about it? Like, did someone pass away or something?
I thought it was a text sent to everybody.
Who's everybody? What's going on?
We'll talk about it later.
That's
Well,
how
that
I
was a bit
knew
French.
it was working. After that, in the call log, there was a bunch of incoming and outgoing calls to STD girl and new girl. Mwahaha! So, my friend helped me in this way. New girl called the spoof number, and my friend answered. She was asking, how did you get my number and send it to STD girl? Blah, blah, blah. My friend said, you must be sorely mistaken because I have no idea what you're talking about. Then, new girl, while speaking to my friend, asked her, can I call you back and connect STD girl for a 3-way call? My friend said, yes. And then blocked new girl, STD girl, and Paolo's cell phone numbers.
Why are we tormenting new girl and STD girl?
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't
either.
seem like they freaking knew about you. Maybe
Yeah.
STD girl did, but new girl certainly didn't. So why are we tormenting them? You're kind of the a-hole, OP.
That's how I knew my plan went perfectly. Then he happened to find me on my lunch break. He asked, what exactly are you up to? Me, warming up my lunch.
Haha, very funny.
What's going on? You said we would talk about an upsetting text or something? He then explained some convoluted story about an anonymous number texting him. Then later it became an unknown number that texted his close friends. And this unknown number texted something about my name. Then he said the text said something along the lines of, stay away from my man. The spoof number belongs to an Ava, he said. Would you like to say that line?
OP, who is Ava?
I don't know. New girl called him while we were talking, so I said his name loudly, and he had to hang up the call. But before he hung up, I heard him say to her,
I don't know this number. I have never seen it before. I'm also trying to figure out who Ava is.
I told him
Okay.
he wasn't making any sense. He told me,
Listen. You must find out about something, and then you're going to hate me. I think my little secret is out. Don't worry, it's nothing that can hurt you.
I was seething, but I played it cool.
Listen, for the next 7 days. The next 7 days, I am going to avoid you. Today is the first day.
Why? I didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, you didn't do anything wrong, but it's for your own good. Because that text I'm talking about, it's eventually going to reach you.
What exactly is this text? Why don't you just show it to me?
It's for your own protection, but we can still call and text. I just want to come over to your place, and you can't come over to me. I'm going to give you space. I'm doing this for you.
What an effing liar! He kept my spare key to my apartment. The next morning, he jumped on my bed, and woke me up playfully, acting all giddy.
It's Christmas!
How the F can he do that after he just told me that we were going to have space? Also, because I'm the only one that didn't blow up his phone last night, he probably thought the text hadn't reached me. When he saw I wasn't enthusiastic about him randomly popping up, he was about to run away on some...
You have bad vibes, so I'm just gonna go. See you later.
That pissed me off so much. So at first, I confronted him about the STD prescription. His attempts to triangulate and huff and puff and trying to stall didn't work. He went to the bathroom probably to delete all his texts because after he confesses, he would have had to hand over my iPhone. Then he confessed to cheating with the STD girl. I applied pressure on him to confess. Who else, Paolo? Who else have you been talking to and effing behind my back? He only answered,
I only had spicy sleep with STD girl once.
I kept pushing, and that's when he accused me of being the spoof number. So I conveniently showed him the text I also got from the spoof number.
Is this a soap opera?
It must be.
Is
so
this that
silly
telenovela?
It must.
It was like, Paolo, you've been cheating on me.
Yeah. He was dumbfounded and angrily whispered. Yeah.
So it was STD girl all along. Damn, she's crazy. Why did she do all of this to me? How did she get your number too?
I told him to look me in the eyes, and I said, you're a coward. Do you know that? Did you know you're a coward? He was near to tears, and he repeated,
Yes, I am a coward.
This is crazy. I told him he doesn't have to pretend to love me anymore. If he didn't want to be with me, he could have just broken up with me. And he said,
But I did want to be with you. Seems I lost sight of that. Can this be fixed?
Fixed? Fixed? You are the one who went to go F people behind my back. So tell me, Mr. Man of the Hour, man of the house with a massive ego, please tell me, what was your plan? You get caught and then what? I'm waiting. What's with the silence, Mr. Popular?
I'm sorry, Selena.
You're just sorry you got caught.
No. I'm not sorry I got caught. You know what? You got one over me. That was a real good one, OP.
He's just a worldly guy. He's just Paulo. He might have started in like
He's
some sort of
Spain and a
Spanish
little bit of
country,
French, a little bit of Italian, a little bit
he's
of Transylvania.
been all over. I did not respond the exact same way he would ignore me when I brought up my concern. And by the way, I would never ignore you if you wanted to check out full episodes of more stories just like this one on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or whatever podcast app you prefer. Just go to OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to this story, but how we like in this show so
It
far.
started off and it was believable.
Yeah.
And it's gone down this rabbit hole, especially when we started getting dialogue.
Yeah.
And I just don't quite believe
I don't either.
that any of this happened. But it did start off really strong.
So maybe he has figured out that I was behind it all. Maybe he still suspects STD girl. But so what? I don't care. The damage has been done. Now he has to build up his Rolodex of victims to manipulate all over again. Boo effing who. After that, he walked me to work while I was on a work call. Then he tried to ask me something about the call I was on. I just ignored him. I haven't spoken to him since. I don't care to hear from him ever again. I have nothing to say, and some things don't need to be said aloud. He knows it's over. And that's the end of that story.
And that is the end.
That is the end.
Paolo.
Paolo and Selena.
I must admit, Spanish accents are not in my Rolodex of accents.
That's totally fine. Maybe someday it will be.
Yeah, I'm
believe in you.
more of a European accent person.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah.